first thing you need to be doing every single time you get paid is paying yourself first. And when I say pay yourself first, I mean the morning you wake up after your direct deposit hit, after you thank God for waking you up, allowing you to see another day, giving you another opportunity to be better and do better, go into your bank account, transfer 10% of your income from your checking account into your savings account. And it's imperative that you do this first, because if you don't, you end up paying everybody else and then trying to pay yourself last. But then when your money is a little less or lesser than what it was at the beginning, now you start to contemplate, you start to hesitate on if you should save, because you got to make whatever's left last till you get paid again. But if we go ahead and prioritize that and not even put ourselves in that position, and we'll be able to see the results of us paying ourselves first and prioritizing our savings. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. What we're going to be talking about today is paying ourselves first. This is a principle that I learned from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad at the age of 18. This is something I started doing, I've been doing for almost 12 years now. I'm telling y'all, this simple strategy and principle jump-started my financial success. And when I started doing this and being disciplined and consistent with it, it opened up so many opportunities for me financially. If you are new to the channel and you get any value, any benefit from this video, please hit that subscribe button for me. If you've been subscribed, man, I appreciate all your love and all your support. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the video. The reason why paying yourself first is so important, because you gotta think about your current payday routine. You wake up, you know you got money in your account, you start to, feel a little better about yourself. That's why everybody loves Friday. People say, thank God it's Friday, because it's payday. We go and we stop and get breakfast, we do this, we pay our bills. But by the time you get to wanting to save or trying to save, you done paid 15 different people. You done paid the phone company, you done paid the light company, you done paid your landlord, whatever car you drive, you done paid them, you done paid Chick-fil-A, you done paid 2 or 3 other different restaurants. Like, you literally paying and prioritizing everybody else. And then once we're done paying everybody else, we try to come and we look and we see we may have $140, $150 left over. Now it becomes a lot more harder to want to save, because you have to make this last until you get paid again. A lot of people get paid bi-weekly. So if you already done ran through your whole entire check in 3 or 4 days, you get paid Friday, by Wednesday the money's starting to, dwindle down a little bit. It's gonna make it a lot harder for you to wanna save. But the thing about savings is you wanna have a solid financial foundation. That is the foundation to your financial success. Once you can have some money saved up, it gives you so much peace. It gives you a little bit of freedom to be able to explore and take advantage of other opportunities. When you don't have nothing saved, you're constantly living and walking on eggshells. You're one flat tire away from being broke or having to go into debt to pay for that. So the sooner you can get stuff saved up, the better off you will be in all other aspects of your life, especially when it comes to money. Now, the rule of paying yourself first is 10%. You want to take 10% of your income. And so for a quick example, if you make $1,000, 10% of that is $100. So you want to take whatever your check is, whatever your direct deposit is, and multiply that by 10%, and that's what you get. I started this when I was only making $20. My 10% was only $20. I started working out at Sonic, making $200 a week, maybe $300 on a good week if I worked all week and worked overtime, but my 10% was $20. I tell people all the time, do not worry about the amount, especially if you are a beginner and you're just trying to start saving. The amount does not matter. All we want to focus on right now is building the discipline and the consistency. Because once you have the discipline and the consistency embedded in your mind and it becomes part of your payday routine, once you start to make more money, it won't be any problem, it won't be any issue to continue doing the same thing, because now it's part of your routine, it's embedded in you, it's now your habit. When I went from making my $20, my 10% being my $20, and I got, bigger and better jobs, making a lot more money, it wasn't a problem for me to still take 10% of my 10%. Might have been $200. It might have been, it was way more than $20, but it was no issue for me to continue doing that, because I started and kind of engraved that discipline and consistency when I started with just a small amount of money. And then on the other end of, you got to think about it, man. We the one putting in this work. We have to get up early and be on time for work. We standing on our feet 7-8 hours a day, or if we're depending on where you work, you might work 10-12 hours a day. So why do we go and we take care of everybody else first and not reward ourselves? We need to make sure we're prioritizing ourselves. The companies that we spend our money on, give our money to, they got billions of dollars. I got T-Mobile. I'm sure if I go look at what they're valued at, I'm sure they're probably in the $1 billion range. My light company, I'm sure they got millions of dollars. Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, all these restaurants they got money. We need to make sure that we have money. Now, don't get this misconstrued or take what I'm saying the wrong way. I'm not saying don't pay your bills, definitely pay your bills. Make sure you don't, miss a payment or be late on them. Take care of your responsibilities, but you are the biggest responsibility. If you miss a bill, paying your phone bill, and you ain't got nothing for yourself, who is it gonna hurt? Is it gonna hurt T-Mobile? No, they still gonna be operating. Is it gonna hurt McDonald's? No, they still gonna be operating. They gonna run with or without you. But what I'm saying and what I'm trying to stress to you is that you are important. You are more important than everybody else that you pay. So make sure that you do this and you start doing this every single time you get paid, even with your side hustles. I try to do it with as much money as I come from. I got multiple sources of multiple streams of income, and each time I get paid from those different sources, I'm still taking 10% and I'm putting it into my savings. And then with your savings, I talk about this all the time. You have an immediate fund, and you have your emergency fund. Your immediate fund is $1,500 minimum, $2,500 maximum. Those are for your immediate issues. You have a flat tire. I had a guy just the other day tell me his AC went out. He had to pay $950. He didn't have that saved up. So guess what he had to do? He had to go into debt to pay for that. He had to get a credit card. Some people be having to get payday loans, and then those loans come with high interest, and then you ended up paying more. If it was a $950 bill, but by the time you pay it off, it's probably gonna be $1050. That's how interest eat at you. But if we already have that money saved up because we was probably preparing and planning for those type of situations, we wouldn't have to worry about that. So you want to take your first initial savings with your 10%, and you want to build up your immediate fund of that $1,500 minimum, $2,500 maximum. We want to keep that in a regular savings account. We're not worrying about earning any kind of interest or anything on that. But once we complete that immediate fund, then we want to transfer it into a high yield savings account. That way they can grow, they can build, and they can earn interest on it, and they can actually make you money just by having your money sit in those accounts. Anywhere from 3% all the way up to 5%. And the higher you have in there, the more you make off of that. We gotta start prioritizing saving, man. I don't understand why so many people look at savings as I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but I don't feel like people prioritize it enough. Your money, if you save your money will save you. I literally had so many situations in my life that if I hadn't had money saved up, it would have put me in such a big hole, a deep hole that would take me a long time to dig myself out of. And so experiencing those type of situations, it makes me always make sure that I'm prioritizing paying myself first. And another thing I'll tell you guys about paying yourself first. If it's hard for you to manually do it, set it up to where 10% is automatically taken out of your paycheck and put into a savings account. That way it takes the pressure off of you. Some people lack discipline. And even though they do initially put their money into their savings, it's too tempting when it's sitting right there in your mobile app. You can just log in, go and transfer from the savings to the checking account just because you see some come up on the TikTok shop. You see some come up on Facebook or anywhere. They got sales and stuff that attack you to pay for things all the time. So it's always tempting. Create a whole different separate savings account that isn't attached to your everyday money, your everyday income that you can, go and spend money out of. Out of sight, out of mind. I'll tell you guys, and I've said it plenty of times before, but my 401k is what made me really start saving my 10% and doing it every single pay period, because for a while I was in my job for almost a year and I was hearing these guys talk about their 401ks, and my company automatically enrolls us in it. They take 5% out of our check, but then they match 5%. And so when I finally got a whiff of what was in my account, I was like, golly, I didn't know I had that much money in there. But the thing that really messed my mind up is that I didn't miss the money. It's like this has been coming out of my check the whole time, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't miss it. It didn't hurt me. It wouldn't have made a difference. And that's the same thing with this 10%. I always say the 10% is small enough to not miss, but it's big enough to see results. And I'm telling you guys, the longer you just keep doing it, every single paycheck, and you see it gradually growing, bro, it's going to turn you up, and you're going to start to see your mindset shift, and you're going to look at things like, okay, that cost this, I could actually be saving it. It can get me closer to my goal, and it just really, it does something to you. And another tip I'll give you guys, if you manually going and taking it from your checking account to your savings account doesn't work, you don't go and set up direct deposit to another account so that it's out of sight, out of mind. Try saving with cash. Preferably $100 bills. And I say $100 bills because it's a lot harder for us to break those $100 bills. With our credit cards, our debit cards, with these phones, it's easy to pull up somewhere and you just use your Apple Pay, you just tap. it's easy for that, and you don't see, you know that money is in there, but you don't see it disappearing. You don't see it actually going away. With cash, when you got that $100 in 20s, or you got a $100 bill and it has to be broken down, you have a different type of attachment to it. And so now you're gonna actually second guess, like, okay, do I really want to spend this? I'm down to my last this. I only got this. The physical, seeing the money physically leave and get smaller and smaller, it does something psychologically to you. So there's many different methods of going about paying yourself first. Again, I started with $20. My 10% was $20, and I did it in cash. I would at the time, we didn't have direct deposit at Sonic. We would get a paper check, and it was a Bank of America down the street from the Sonic, maybe like 2 minutes. I would deposit my paper check into the ATM. Once that deposit was complete, you know, they asked you, do you want to make any other transactions? I would then withdraw $20, and I would do that every single week. It was only $80 a month, but it built up, it add up. Small numbers add up. Don't worry, like I said, don't worry about the amount. Worry about building the consistency, worried about building discipline, so when you do start to make more money, it won't be an issue. That's the first thing you guys need to be doing every single time you get paid. Matter of fact, I will do a complete full money payday routine for you guys that I've done. I've had several throughout my life, because, you know, things change. I start making more money. I start having more expenses, so sometimes things change. But I want you guys to start having some kind of system, having some kind of structure when it comes to your money, be able to tell your money where to go, so you don't have to ask your money where it went. And we just got to start being better and doing better with our money. And that's what this channel is about, igniting financial elevation. Be better and do better with our money. So if you guys have made it to the end, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And again, if you have not subscribed to the channel and you got any value, any benefit out of this, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow. We're trying to take this to the next level. To everybody that has already subscribed, I appreciate y'all support. Let's keep sharing this. Let's keep getting this content out. And I will see you guys on the next video.